Hello there and welcome to the Star Wars Showcase YouTube channel. I've got a couple of tips and tricks up for you today on building out more of your Hoth Rebel officers. So let's get right into it. So here are our completed projects up on the rotating table. Both of these feature custom 3D printed head sculpts, so there's an opportunity to do a little bit of painting work for both a Solstin and an Arkona, but all together I think it only cost me around $20 to make each of these projects individually, so not too much in terms of a time or budget commitment. Speaking of budget, let's call out our friend Bounty Supply Co., who I was able to source these parts from today. You can find them on Etsy, and they are an incredible storefront for all of your action figure customizing needs. Also wanted to give a shout out to Landspeeder Luke, who is a very talented 3D print designer and who put together the Arkona head sculpt that we are using today. So big props to Landspeeder Luke, does fantastic work, highly recommend checking them out. And here's a quick shot of that Arkona we actually see for the first time in the Cantina scene of A New Hope. And I kind of like with some of these projects using some of our lesser known alien heads. We don't get as many of these in the Black Series, so it's a fun opportunity to use some of those painting skills and add some real diversity to your troopers. Okay, so let's break these projects down a little bit further. You'll notice here we're using our Black Series Han Solo in his Hoth Rebel officer gear here. And there were actually two releases of this Han Solo figure. The first one that I've used here on the left came with these goggles, and I have cut those up a little bit and put a little bit of elastic wire so that they're able to fit over his neck just a little bit more naturally. So the paint job that I've done here, very similar to the one I did in my Black Series Hoth Rebel Trooper video. I'll link to that in the description so you can check that out. But Solstin head sculpts are a lot of fun. They're relatively simple in terms of the different paints and colors, and some wash coats bring out some really nice details on the 3D prints themselves. I also got to use a little bit of that technical art coat to add a little bit of gloss to the eyes of this project. I'm a big fan of doing that for different goggles or reflective visors to add that nice effect there. For our Arkona here, who has a relatively simple color scheme to him, I actually used two different shades of brown here, putting down a darker shade first, covering the entire model, and then using a sponge and a lighter shade of brown to kind of add a different color to our raised details. So fun little paint job there. This figure is using the additional Han Solo Black Series sculpt that comes with this soft goods hood here, which I'm actually a big fan of, and I was able to pick up both of these individual sculpts on eBay for about 10 bucks a piece, so you can source the parts relatively easily, and it is nice to have kind of this, one with soft goods, one with goggles. You could add different scarves or different accessories there, and when you start to pair things up with some of your Hoth Rebel troopers, it just adds a lot of diversity there. I'm a big fan of doing this for your trooper ranks, so you're not just, one or two different humans there, but we've got all of the different, species that are making up the Rebel Alliance, and if you're making a shelf or a scene display, these guys add a lot of depth. So relatively easy in terms of our paint jobs here, but these are fun, affordable, easy to do projects, and I hope you guys are able to get a lot of mileage out of this just as kind of a basic template. With that said, let me know your thoughts on this project. If you've got any other recommendations for other head sculpts or painting or accessory techniques to build out your Rebel ranks there, would love to hear everyone's thoughts down in the comments below. And if you're interested in seeing more videos like this, we've got a whole playlist breaking down other Black Series action figure projects, as well as reviews of many of our mainline Black Series releases. So make sure to check those out.